are signing left and right.
They definitely are. Breaking news here on SportsCenter. The Raiders and center Tyler Linderbaum have agreed to a 3-year, $81 million deal with $60 million guaranteed. Sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Now, the Dolphins opened the day by moving on from their former franchise quarterback. The team announced it's releasing Tua Tagovailoa and taking on his $99 million dead cap hit, which they'll parlay over 2 years, replacing him with Malik Willis. Packers back up, now the main man in Miami.
How about the Packers? Comes less than 7 months after the Cowboys sent edge rusher Micah Parsons to Green Bay.
How about the Panthers? They've agreed to a 4-year, $120 million deal with linebacker Jalen Phillips. Sources tell ESPN's Adam Schefter, $80 million guaranteed to Phillips, who was with Miami and Philly last year.
And the breaking news continues here on SportsCenter. The Rams agreeing to a 3-year contract with Jalen Watson. Watson, the second Chiefs corner to go to L.A. after Trent McDuffie was traded just last week. And then how about Travis Kelce? News that Travis Kelce will come back for a 14th NFL season. The sources told ESPN's Nate Taylor. The veteran tight end was set to become a free agent.
And you know what, Amina? Kelce's going to see a new face in the backfield. The Chiefs have agreed to a 3-year, $43 million deal with Kenneth Walker III. The Super Bowl MVP will now boost a struggling Chiefs rushing attack. And you know what? Patrick Mahomes loves it. Tweeted this out just moments ago to his new teammate. Let's go. Listen, we've got free agency covered from all angles. Our senior NFL reporter, Jeremy Fowler, he's with us. Of course, our senior front office insider, Mike Tannenbaum, with us. NFL analyst, Harry Douglas. So, Jay Fowler, I'll start with you. The Super Bowl MVP, now a member of the Chiefs. How did this get done?
Well, the Chiefs had scoured the earth for running back help the last few weeks, dating back to the Combine. They were trying to plant seeds. Travis Etienne was an option for them as well out of Jacksonville. They knew they needed more explosion at that spot. They had gotten older. They need to help Patrick Mahomes, especially with him coming off the injury that he has. And so they're running it back in some regards, bringing Travis Kelce back, who they think at least has another good year left. But they had to establish more of a running game. Now, I do expect them to address wide receiver to some extent. It could bring back Tyquan Thornton, but they do have some options there as well.
Okay, so, Harry, give me your opinion here. What does this move, you think, do for the Kansas City?
Blanket for Patrick Mahomes as he is working back from the ACL injury. He led them in receptions, he led them in receiving yards, and he was tied for first in receiving touchdowns. So what better way? Number one, you got Kenneth Walker the third, who's going to take off a lot of pressure on Patrick Mahomes. And then now you have his tight end, his safety valve, a guy that he is connected with since he became a starter for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I like them bringing back Travis Kelce because those guys' dynamic relationship and unspoken words on a football field and just understanding body language and the chemistry that they have with one another.
Okay, so now let's move on to quarterbacks because, you know, the Dolphins, they move on from Tua. We knew that was probably going to happen, but they're going to take that cap hit. They signed Malik Willis. Tell us about what went into their thinking, Jeremy, on getting Malik Willis.
Well, the front office there likes Malik Willis. They know him from Green Bay. Head coach Jeff Hafley, general manager John Eric Sullivan. They're comfortable with him. They've seen him grow under Matt LaFleur and what he can be. And just talking to people around the league, his upside is high. He's got a lot of power in his legs and his arm. Now, he's raw. Can you run a full offense around him is the question right now. But they feel good about this, and they also feel like the contract isn't crazy enough, or if they had to get out of it at some point, even though it's a 3-year deal, they probably could. So this, to me, is somebody with upside that they can develop, but there's also a hedge a little bit if they want to rebuild a little bit in the future and draft somebody else.
Harry, let me get your thoughts on this, because the Dolphins could have went a number of ways there at quarterback. They could have drafted one. They could have stuck with Quinn Ewers. They could also drafted a quarterback in 2027 because there's some talented quarterbacks coming in another year. But they decided to go with Willis. Give me your reaction to it.
Yeah, Malik Willis is still a young man, and he doesn't have a lot of tread on the tires, but the offensive system that he was in Green Bay under Matt LaFleur is the same offensive system he's going to be running under offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick. Bobby Slowick goes all the way back 2011, 2013, when Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator for the Washington Redskins at the time. But Malik Willis is a guy that the athleticism is definitely there. I love the fact that he learned 2 years on how to play the quarterback position, sitting behind Jordan Love. And then when he got his opportunities, he was able to shine as well. The general manager, John Eric Sullivan, he was there in Green Bay, so he knows them in and out. The head coach, Jeff Hafley, he was the defensive coordinator in Green Bay. He went against Malik Willis damn near every day. So I love this signing by the Miami Dolphins. This also told me if you were going to move forward and move on from Tua Tagovailoa, you better had a plan. The Miami Dolphins, great job executing the plan.
Yeah, Harry, I love the signing. Let me tell you a quick story. In 1997, Coach Parcells and Coach Belichick got to the Jets. I was fortunate to be hired there. The 96 Jets won 1 game, and Coach Parcells told everybody, we have to establish ourselves. We have to establish credibility. That's exactly what Malik Willis does. Talent and character. It establishes a new head coach, a new GM with great credibility. This is a great foundational player. And as Jeremy alluded to, like, it gives them some optionality in the future. So, Brian, if they like somebody in 2027, they could still sign him. But Malik Willis will absolutely give them credibility from day one, something they're going to need with a new head coach and a new GM.
Let's go to the other side of this situation. Jeremy, now Tua Tagovailoa is a free agent. Who might be interested in him?
Well, the Atlanta Falcons have zeroed in on Tua. They're looking at him. I expect today, now that he's been released, that they could have a Zoom call with him, which is within NFL rules. Coaches can meet with him for up to an hour, make sure the fit is correct. But this is a quarterback that they are pursuing, and there have been whispers about this for a few weeks now. And you got 2 left-handers now.
Yeah, they love those lefty quarterbacks, huh?
So it makes sense. They feel like, even though the arm strength with Tua isn't elite at this stage, they feel like with his ability to distribute the ball, they can create yards after catch opportunities for him. So then the next domino will be the Minnesota Vikings. And who do they want to sign? They have Kyler Murray, who will be interested. They have Geno Smith and others. That's the big domino.
You know the expression, you had me at hello?
Yeah.
I will tell you this, the Atlanta Falcons, they have Tua at $1.3 million. So that is what's going to catch their eye. Now, look, for Tua to be successful, what does he need? A strong offensive line. Atlanta has an excellent offensive line. They did a great job protecting Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix a year ago, and he needs a strong running game. Arguably the best running back in the game, Bijan Robinson. So if I'm Tua and I'm trying to reestablish myself, not knowing the availability of Michael Penix, this is a great fit for him. Get with Kevin Stefanski, be well protected, and see where we are in 2027.
Harry, what about you? What do you think of this move, or this potential move with Tua Tagovailoa possibly going to the Falcons?
So for the Atlanta Falcons in their offense, when you have a Bijan Robinson, you have a Drake London, you have a Kyle Pitts who's on the franchise tag and he's coming back, you need a quarterback to play point guard and distribute the football to those guys so they can do what they do. It's kind of sad right now that the Atlanta Falcons having all these guys and all of them top 10 picks in the first round and have not sniffed the playoffs. So when it comes to the quarterback position, number one, it's about health. Now, Tua has issues with that, with the concussions. Hopefully he's going to be fine moving forward. But like Mike T alluded to, if you can get him at a $1 million price or $1.3 million, you can't beat that. And he's also a left-handed quarterback like Michael Penix Jr. So it's not going to be a drastic change when you look at your quarterback throwing the football to receivers and tight ends and those guys having to adjust to it, because it definitely comes out the hand different from a left-hander than it does a right-hander.
A lot of moves in the NFL so far. However, Mike T, your favorite one to this point?
Amina, Tyler Lindenbaum to the Las Vegas Raiders for a stunning $27 million a year. The highest paid center was Creed Humphrey at $18 million. But if we were running the Raiders, they were last in the league in sacks allowed, and we're drafting Fernando Mendoza. We need 3 more Lindenbaums, whatever the price is. You know? It's kind of like when my wife goes shopping, whatever the price is. And I'm just telling you, like, they need to protect Mendoza. This was a great signing.
Look, I think I know about Mike Tannenbaum. He likes to build from the inside out.
Yeah,
the guy who Nick Mangold, God rest his soul, Shaw Ferguson, first-round picks by Mike Tannenbaum.
Also, your wife and myself, we had that in common. Just throw it in the bag. Doesn't even matter what the price is.
Throw it in the bag.
Not salary cap friendly.
Salary cap friendly. They'll be with us all throughout the show.
Okay, fabulous.
Thanks so much, guys.
By the way, more breaking news here in the Sports Center. The Saints have agreed to a 4-year, $52 million deal with running back Travis Etienne. Sources tell Adam Schefter Etienne, career-high 13 touchdowns last season in Jacksonville, rushed for over 1,000 yards for the 3rd time in his career. All right, still to come. On to Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers doesn't seem to be in a rush to make a decision. Well, that negotiation window for the NFL, it kicked off at noon today. The signings, trades, been fast and furious. Here's some breaking news here in the Sports Center. The Giants have agreed to a 3-year deal with former Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely. Sources tell ESPN's Adam Schefter. Likely reunites with his former Ravens head coach, John Harbaugh, now member of the Giants. Back here with Mike Tannenbaum, we're going to play a little something we call good, better, best here with Mike T. Real quick, your thoughts, Likely going there to the Giants.
Oh, makes a ton of sense. You know, Jackson Dart needs to be established at quarterback. What does John Harbaugh want to do? He wants to run the ball. He wants to throw it to tight ends. Isaiah Likely is ideal. Look for a couple more Ravens to come over to help change the identity and the culture of the Giants. That's what they got with John Harbaugh.
Okay, good start there for John Harbaugh there with the Giants. All right, so let's take a look now at the conference finalists that didn't win the Super Bowl. So I'm talking about Broncos, Rams, Patriots. Who do you think needs to have a good offseason to be successful here this upcoming season?
The L.A. Rams, Brian, and they're already off to a good start. They got Trent McDuffie, who to me is one of the best corners in the league. You're seeing here, he can cover, he can blitz, he can tackle. He's extremely versatile. And I'll tell you what, you know what else the Rams just did? They just signed Jalen Watson, who was his teammate in Kansas City. I think they're off to a good off season, and they needed to address the corner because Emmanuel Forbes, Darius Williams wasn't good enough. I like what they're doing.
Okay, what about teams then that lost in the divisional rounds? Talking about the Texans, the Bills, 49ers, Bears. Who needs to have a better offseason if they want to go deeper in the playoffs?
The Buffalo Bills, and again, I think they're off to a good start. They got DJ Moore, who we're looking at here. If we go back a year ago, Keon Coleman was a massive disappointment. We heard that from the owner, Terry Pagula, when they fired Sean McDermott. DJ Moore is a good start, but they can't be done. He's 29 years old. They're going to have to add more explosive playmakers, maybe pick up another running back at some point, a corner, and a defensive end, and this team has a chance to get back to the, hopefully to the Super Bowl.
So among all the other 24 teams, which one do you think needs to have the best offseason in order to improve their chances?
Brian, the Cincinnati Bengals, and it has to be on one side of the ball. It has to be on defense. They just lost Joe Asai to the New York Jets. They're going to lose Trey Hendrickson, and they really need help at all three levels of their defense. They need at least two pass rushers. Shamir Stewart, last year's first-round pick, hasn't worked out. We know they have a world-class offense, but they need to have a great offseason to give themselves a chance to match a championship offense. They need at least an average defense.
Yeah, absolutely. That defense was putrid last season. All right, Mike T., thank you.
All right, coming